शान्तार्थविभासकाय गुरवे शान्ताय सन्न्यासिने नानावादिनगेन्द्रसङ्घपवये योगीन्द्रवन्द्याय च मोहध्वान्तदिवाकराय भगवत्पादाभिधां बिभ्रते तस्मै भाष्यकृते नमोऽस्तु सततं पूर्णाय बोधात्मने ओम्। ब्रह्माहं यत्प्रसादेन मयि विश्वं प्रकल्पितं श्रीमत्स्वयं प्रकाशाख्यं प्रणौमि जगतां गुरुं यः परमात्मा जगत्सृष्ट्वा प्रविवेश पुनः स्वयं तं कृष्णं प्रत्यगात्मानं वन्दे गोपीमनोहरम् यस्य प्रसादादहमद्वयात्मा विश्वं समस्तं मयि कल्पितं च तं सर्वलोकैकगुरुं सदाश्री स्वयं प्रकाशं गुरुमानतोऽस्मि गुरूणां चरणां भोजं प्रणिपत्य निरन्तरं तत्कृपालेशतोद्वैत चिन्ताकौस्तुभमारभे चिन्ताकौस्तुभमारभे। मानेन मेयाधिगतिस्तु युक्ता धर्मस्य जाड्याद् विधिनिष्ठकाण्डे मेयेन मानाधिगतिस्तु युक्ता वेदान्तवाक्यादजडं हि मेयम्। Now it was told to us that whenever anything has to be established, the pre-requirement is pramanam. And therefore, even before the prameya can be established, the student or the audience needs to be equipped with the pramanam. And of course, when the pramanam is there, now the prameya vastu can be established. And going by this rule, we should have had done the nirupanam, the discourse should have had been of the pramanam in the beginning. But we have seen that the first chapter of this particular text, instead of giving a discourse, delivering the discourse on the pramanam, has gone into a great length to discuss the prameya, Brahman. And therefore, even before we can enter into the other topics of discussion, the author had a slight diversion where he said, because now this is the Nirnaya, we are trying to come to the conclusion, not about anything else, but about the Vedartha. What exactly is being said by the Veda? So if this was the case, when this is the case, the Purva Bhaga of the Veda, the prior section of the Veda, the earlier section of the Veda, or the first section of the Veda, which is Karma Kanda, which deals with Karma Kanda, has Dharma as its prameya, that what has to be known. Okay. Then this dharma, so by doing this, you will get this, do this, don't do this, etc., is meant to say what is dharma. When this is the case, dharma is jadam, is jadam. And the second portion of the Veda, which is Vedanta, the Upanishads, Jnana Kanda, over here, Atma is a Chaitanya. The Prameya Vastu is Chaitanya and not Jada. The rest of the world, everything else can be established, seen, known through the appropriate instruments of knowing. But over here, no matter which instrument of knowing it is, even the instrument of knowing will be illumined by Atma, and therefore the pramanam itself gets established because in the light of Atma. What is the general case? That any object gets illumined in the light from the pramanam. But over here, no, not only one pramana, every pramana, no matter whichever pramana that may be, whether it is pratyaksha, anumana, and all these pramanas, upamana, anupalabdhi, arthapatti, or even the shabda pramana. All these pramanas together are illumined, established by in the Atma. This Atma is the Prameya Vastu of Vedanta, and therefore it was appropriate that Prameya over here, that which illumines, gets established first. Like in the other case, Pramanam is what illumines Dharma, Shabda Pramanam, and therefore Shabda has to be shown and explained, and therefore rest of the places, the Nirupanam, the discourse on the Pramanam is in the beginning, and that is understood. But over here, it is only the Atma, which is the Prameya, in whose light everything is getting established, including the Pramanas. So over here, therefore, now this was perfectly okay. Now, let us come to our own topic, and the topic is that of vritti, modification, cognition, because cognition of Brahman, Brahmakara vritti, Akhandakara vritti is what we need. Is what we need, because only this vritti is capable of destroying the ignorance. Because now the ignorance has Brahman as its Vishaya. This is the Moola Jnana, the root causal ignorance. No matter how causal it is, but knowledge is capable of destroying ignorance. It is an established fact. So now, over here, we want to know what is vritti, basically. So now that vritti was told to us over here in the Moola Grantha with its definition as vrittihi. Now that vrittir means vrittihi. Nama Vishaya Chaitanya Vivyanjakontakkarna Jnanayoho Parinama Visheshaha. It obviously is a product. It is a product. It's a modification, and it is a modification of Antakkaranam. Now, this is said by several other people. We understand every cognition is just a modification. Now there are, let us say, Ghatakara vritti, Patakara vritti, Mathakara vritti. Now cognition A, B, and C are here. Every cognition, basic material of that cognition is mind itself. they may have three different forms. Cognition A is in the form of a pot, ghatakara. Cognition B is in the form of a pata, the cloth, and the cognition C is in form of a house, matakara. So pata, ghata, mata, and pata. All these. What is, we are not interested what akara it is taking, because finally we want to know what is brahmakara. Just as the vritti assumes the form, takes the form of ghata, pata, and mata, so also if the vritti is there and it stands in front of Brahman, it will take the form of Brahman too, like in case of ghata, mata, and pata too. That we will see. But we want to, at this point, we want to know what is vritti. So here is your definition. Vishaya Chaitanya Abhivanjako Antakarana Jnana Yoga Parinam Visheshaha. And this Parinama, it is the modification of mind. But the author just does not stop in saying it is the modification of the mind. He says it is a joint modification of ignorance and mind. All right, it may be a joint modification. So now, you look at the parts of the definition, okay? Because what is important over here is how the definition is built by putting the parts together. And then the usefulness of every dala, of every part, has to be proven too. That's why it is a little advanced text also. You all know this now. So we will have to justify as why it is there. Vrittirnama Vishaya Chaitanya Abhivyanjakaha. So how will we say? How will this definition be said? Vishaya Chaitanya Abhivanjakatve sati Antakarana Jnanayoho Parinama Visheshaha. This is how the definition will go. When it is segregated into these two dalas, into parts. Somebody is writing it?
Yes, Swamiji.
Yes, Swamiji.
Is anyone writing? Not.
Yes, Swamiji. Yes.
Very good. No, please. Vishaya Chaitanya Abhivanjakatve sati Antakarana Jnanayoho Parinama Visheshaha. Now, in the first dala, in the first part of the definition, we come across this thing, Vishaya Chaitanya Abhivanjakatvam. So now he says, what is this Abhivanjakatvam? Obviously, we will have to know what is Vishaya Chaitanyam also. But he chooses to explain the part of Abhivanjakatvam in that Prathamadala. Abhivanjakatvam nama aparoksha vyavahara janakatvam. Athava avarana nivartakatvam. That va over there is athava, or else va means like in athava. Okay, that va is what? To say athava. Acha. Let's go to our Tika. All of you are there, right? Following the Tika properly?
Yes, Swamiji.
Chalo. Vrittihi. The Vedanta Vakya, that sentence which is brought from Sarvajñatma Muni, right below that, the paragraph below it. Vrittihi. By here, what do you mean by vritti? Vritti jnanam. Vritti means vritti jnanam. What is this vritti jnanam? Ghatati avachinna chaitanyam vishaya chaitanyam. Ghatadi avachinna chaitanyam vishaya chaitanyam. So vishaya chaitanya abhivanjakatve sati. Now, in Vedanta, Chaitanya consciousness and existence is one and the same. Okay? Is one and the same. And this Chaitanyam is Sarvavyapak. Okay? So, even the Ghatapatadi or the Prapancha is also there in the consciousness. It is the consciousness, like it is the existence in which the world comes and goes, and therefore it gains the status of being existent. So also, now this Chaitanyam is also is Sarvavyapak. And by that virtue, now we are going to say Ghatavachinna Chaitanyam means now consciousness which is limited by the conditioning. What conditioning is here presently? Ghata. That object called the Ghata, pot. So that becomes the adjunct which is limiting the Ghata, the Chaitanyam. So Ghatadi avachinna Chaitanyam, Vishaya Chaitanyam. What is called as Vishaya Chaitanyam? So Vishaya Chaitanyam means Vishaya avachinna Chaitanyam. Why are you adding this Vishaya avachinna Chaitanyam? Krodadishu ativyapti varanaya purvadalam. Why are you keeping this Vishaya Chaitanya abhivanchakatva sati, in which Vishaya Chaitanya you have to keep? Because we do not want to confuse the word vritti with other forms of cognitions, namely the feelings, moods, etc. Krodhadishu ativyapti varanaya purvadalam, because those are also modifications of mind only. Okay, your moods and your feelings, like the krodha, etc. You are angry at someone. So that is that ativyapti varanaya. In order to avoid the ativyapti taking place in feelings and moods, etc., we have brought in the word Vishaya Chaitanyam, Vishaya Chaitanya Abhivyanjakatvam. So this is the reason why the Purvadala is there. Then Chakshuradau Ativyapti Varanaya Uttaradalam. What is the other part? Abhivyanjakatve sati ajnana antakarnayoho parinama visheshaha. Okay. Otherwise, we would have had understood Chakshu, etc. as vritti. Okay. Why? Because Vishaya Chaitanyam also gets illumined through Chakshu, through Pramana, through this, eyes, ears, etc. So Chakshurado Ativyapti Varanaya Uttaradalam. Teshamapi Swajanya Vritti Dwara Vishaya Chaitanya Abhivanjakatvad. Because the pot, etc., you can also say the pot is also illumined by the eyes. Then if you were only to say Vishaya Chaitanya Abhivanjakatvam, then it could we would have had overspilled, Ativyapti would have taken place in the Indriyas, etc. And therefore, in order to avoid such an overspilling, Ativyapti, what are we doing? We are giving it the Uttaradalam. So what is the reason that the Purvadala is there and Uttaradala is there? Krodhadishu ativyapti varanaya Purvadalam. Chakshurado ativyapti varanaya Uttaradalam. Okay. So now we have understood the functional importance of both the parts of the definition. Now, let us see what else needs to be understood in this definition. Nanu kimidam abhivanjakatvam. Sir, what is this abhivanjakatvam? You are saying illumines or expresses. Well, now we want to know what is this abhivanjakatvam. Kimidam abhivanjakatvam iti ashankya aha abhivanjakatvam nameti. Now, therefore, in the Moola Grantha, the author directly has gone into, so this already was, the Purvadala, Uttaradalam and its usefulness, and also to understand what is Vishaya Chaitanyam was not told in the our Moola Grantha. The Moola Grantha goes in directly into defining what is Abhivanjakatvam. So over there he says Abhivanjakatvam. So in that Abhivanjakatvam, he has given you two options. What was the first option? What is the first option?
Aparoksha Vyavahara Janakatvam.
Aparoksha Vyavahara Janakatvam. Now, can you see that when he says Aparoksha Vyavahara Janakatvam, that it generates the transaction of direct experience. That which generates the transaction of direct experience is called as Abhivanjakatvam. That which generates the transaction of the experience of that which generates the experience of direct, that which generates the direct experience. How it has been framed is that which generates the transaction of direct experience. Aparoksha Vyavahara Janakatvam. Okay? Direct experience हो रहा है, प्रत्यक्ष अनुभव हो रहा है. No, that which generates this is called as Abhivanjakatvam. Does anybody see a problem? We have already seen this twice, You need not go into the notes, etc. Can anybody tell me what is the problem for which the author felt little aruchi? He did not like this. So somebody in the earlier books must have said Abhivanjakatvam means this. Now that having read that book or seen that book, the author feels the need to show that there is this particular definition which already is prevalent about the word Abhivanjakatvam. But this,
because other pramans also generate vritti.
Correct. It is not only the pratyaksha pramana which will generate this thing, vritti. Knowledge is generated even by the anumana, etc. Every pramana itself. Now, when you are going to see the fire in the mountain, or when you are going to know the fire in the mountain, that fire is not something which is directly experienced, and yet you have the knowledge. And when you have the knowledge, which means that something has helped you to know the fire in the mountain. Okay? So fire is already abhivyakta over here, there for you. So even those pramanas which do not have direct experience, because that fire is not directly experienced, you don't feel the heat or see the flames. All that you know is there is fire in the mountain. I am seeing the smoke, which means there definitely is fire in the mountain. Now that knowledge of fire is there with you, but you do not have the direct experience of the heat or the flames, and so the other pramanas are also generating knowledge in which there is Vishaya Chaitanya Abhivanchakatvam. Okay, what is the Vishaya over here in case of fire in the mountain? What is the Vishaya? Fire.
Fire.
So we are going to say Vanya Vachinna Chaitanyam. Correct?
Yes, Swamiji.
So Vanya Vachinna Chaitanya Abhivanchakaha. What is Vanya Vachinna Chaitanya Abhivanchakaha? We are going to say it is the Anumana Vritti, Anumiti. What are we going to say? It is the Anumiti, correct? Anumiti means the Vritti, the
Through
knowledge,
Anumana.
which has come from that. See now. So now the problem was, if you were going to say that vritti means that which generates only the pratyaksha vyavahara, that is not true. It generates other also. So therefore, though this was a definition given by somebody earlier, now there is a little aruchi, means a little disapproval. Some sort of a rejection. Well, if anybody wants to work with this, they can. But this is still not very perfected definition. And therefore, he gives you a more refined definition of the word abhivyanjakatvam. What is the other definition? Refined definition, Parishkrit?
Avarana
Nivartakatvam.
Nivartakatvam.
Avarana nivartakatvam va. Okay. Avarana nivartakatvam. So now he in the Tika part. Nanu anumityadi vrittinam pratyaksha vyavahara jarakatva bhavad avyaptihi iti arucheraha avarana nivartakatvam. Because of this aruchi, now he takes to the second definition. Yadyapi pratyaksha vrittehe avarana nivartakatvam iti pratyaksha vrittehe avarana nivartakatvam iti avyaptihi tadavastha tathapi anumityade asatva padaka maudhyajnana avarana nivartakatva na avyapti iti dheyam. Now, pratyaksha vritti's avarana nivartakatvam is known. Avarana means concealment. Concealment means that which does not allow you to know. Okay. So this avaranam means actually a parda, which means a curtain, a veil, a concealment. So because of that concealment, one is not able to know. So now once when you know, and this is obvious in the pratyaksha vritti. एक मिनट प्रत्यक्ष व्यवहार प्रत्यक्ष वृत्तेः आवरण निवर्तकत्वम् इति अव्याप्तिः okay, that pratyaksha vritti etc. removes the avaranam, but where is the avaranam removed by the anumana etc.? Where is the Anuman, etc.? Are they removing? And therefore, even if you change the definition, the avyapti, the defect of avyapti still continues over there. So now he says, no, sir, it does not. Now, because in Anumana, Anumiti, etc., what happens? That avaranam is removed in that case also, but it is not. There are two types of avaranas. Asatva padak and abhana padak. Asatva padak means not knowing at all, and abhana padak avaranam means not experiencing. Now, though you may not experience something, yet you know that it exists. Which means in your case, the asatva padak avaranam, the avaranam which brings the experience of that object not existing for you. Though that object is existing, but because of this avaranam, it becomes as if it doesn't exist for you. Correct? This avaranam is also an avaranam, but it is removed. You may not experience, but you know it exists. That's all. That also is removing one form of avaranam. It may not remove abhana padaka avaranam, but it definitely removes what kind of avaranam? Concealment? Asatva padaka avaranam. And therefore, what have we said in the second definition? Is that it removes avaranam. Did we say that it should remove abhana padaka avaranam? No, we have simply said it should remove avaranam. Whichever avaranam it may remove. Anumana, etc., removes only the asatva padaka avaranam, and pratyaksha removes both the avaranas. And therefore, over here, avarana nivartakatvam is the only thing which is required. So what is the definition of your vritti now? Vishaya Chaitanya avarana nivartakatve sati. Okay? How will you replace this abhivanjakatvam? Because abhivanjakatvam now we have understood in its proper way. What exactly is abhivanjakatvam? And what is that abhivanjakatvam?
Avarana
nivartakatvam. Now use avarana nivartakatvam in the definition and make the definition of vritti.
Vishaya Chaitanya Avarana Nivartakatvam Katve Sati Antakarana Agyana Yoho Parinama Visheshaha.
Good. It will be like this. Vishaya Chaitanya Avarana Nivartakatve Sati. Vishaya Chaitanya Avarana Nivartakatvam is one word. Vishaya Chaitanya Avarana Nivartakatve Sati. Ajnana Antakarnayoho Parinama Visheshaha. This is what vritti to us is. Oh, this is what your vritti is. But sir, we have some more doubts about this. What is your doubt now? He says, you are saying that it is Parinama Visheshaha. You are saying it is Parinama Visheshaha. Parinama Vishesha means it is a specific modification. It is a specific modification. Oh, it is a modification and a specific modification. But we need to understand what is modification. We need to understand what is modification. And therefore, now on this Uttaradala of this definition, we will see. I will have to stop at this point and we will meet again tomorrow. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashitito Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmiti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyaptadehaaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Mahadeva Mahadeva. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Yeah, this camera, I will try to adjust it. But somebody is helping me. This gentleman knows, and that's why there was this problem. All right. All right. All right.
Thank you, Swami.
Okay.